Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce just gave the world its very first look at married life, and the moment has already sent fans into a complete frenzy. 1 week after saying their vows in front of 1,000 guests at Madison Square Garden, the newlyweds stepped out together in public for the first time as husband and wife. And they did not just show up quietly. They arrived holding hands, glowing, and Taylor could not resist flashing her wedding ring for the cameras like she genuinely wanted the whole world to see it. Here is what happened. Taylor and Travis attended the wedding of Travis's former teammate, JuJu Smith-Schuster, and his now wife, Laura Kruk, held Friday at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Niguel, Orange County. It was a fitting choice for their first public reappearance, considering JuJu and Laura were themselves among the 1,000 guests who watched Taylor and Travis get married just 7 days earlier. So in a sense, this was less a random outing and more a full-circle moment, the newlyweds returning the favor by celebrating someone else's big day right after their own. And the photos from the event are exactly the kind of soft, joyful content fans have been craving since the wedding. Taylor wore a strapless pink floral ball gown for the occasion, paired with sunglasses and her signature red lip, while Travis kept things classic in a sharp gray suit with a pair of large-frame sunglasses of his own. Neither of them looked like a couple recovering from the exhaustion of throwing the wedding of the century just 1 week earlier. If anything, they looked completely refreshed, relaxed, and thrilled to simply be out in public together, soaking up the California sun at someone else's celebration instead of their own. As they made their way inside the venue, the two were seen sweetly holding hands, gabbing with fellow guests, and generally looking like two people who were still riding the high of their own wedding just 1 week later. At one point, Taylor was spotted sipping champagne and greeting other guests with warm handshakes, moving easily through the crowd the way someone does when they finally feel like they can breathe again after months of secrecy and planning. Later in the day, she and Travis were photographed dancing together in the golden California sunlight, clearly enjoying every second of the celebration, looking every bit like a couple who are simply happy to be present in someone else's joyful moment. But the detail everyone is talking about is the ring, because seated beside her new husband, Taylor was seen playfully showing off her wedding band to the people around her, giving fans their very first real glimpse of the ring since the ceremony itself. For a couple that has guarded nearly every detail of their wedding with military precision, phones locked away, invitations watermarked, guests sworn to secrecy, that small, casual, unguarded moment of Taylor showing off her ring to friends felt like a genuine gift to everyone who has been dying for even the smallest peek behind the curtain. It was not a posed photo shoot. It was not a carefully worded statement. It was just a happy, freshly married woman wanting to share the moment with the people around her. Before making their way to California for the wedding, Taylor and Travis were reportedly spotted in Montana, spending time with Jason Kelce and his wife Kylie Kelce before the group split off and the newlyweds jetted west. It is a lovely little detail on its own, a reminder that even amid a jam-packed post-wedding schedule, the two families are still leaning on each other, still choosing to spend their downtime together rather than scattering off separately. Jason has been by his brother's side through every major milestone of this entire journey, from best man duties at the actual wedding to apparently casual hangouts in the mountains just days later.
During that recording, the entire time I'm planning, like I'm going to ask this woman to marry me after this. So yeah, those were probably two other like really cool moments of this season. Yeah. Obviously the beginning of it with Taylor is one I'll remember forever. So
this appearance also mattered because of how long it had actually been since fans saw the couple together in public. Their last sighting before this had been all the way back at the Tight End University festivities in Nashville, which took place just 1 week before their own wedding. Taylor had shown up as the ultimate supportive partner at the welcome party for the annual football summit, and the very next night, she stunned the crowd with a surprise performance of her song, Love Story, at the Tight Ends and Friends concert.
Song, and that tight end is named George Kittle.
That detail carries even more weight now, because that same song is the one Taylor walked down the aisle to during her actual wedding ceremony, which means the last time the world saw her performing in public before becoming a wife, she was singing the very song that would soon soundtrack her own walk toward marriage. It is the kind of quiet, poetic detail that only becomes obvious in hindsight. So here's everything else swirling around the newlyweds right now, because their first public outing as a married couple is only one piece of a much bigger story still unfolding. Because in the days since the wedding, new details about the ceremony itself have kept surfacing, painting an increasingly emotional picture of what actually happened inside Madison Square Garden. The Flower Girls have now been fully confirmed as Jason Kelce's 4 daughters, Wyatt, Elliot, Bennett, and Finley, who were sprinkling flower petals all over the place as the ceremony began. A detail that corrects earlier reports which had only mentioned 2 of the girls. Picture that scene for a second. 4 little girls scattering petals down the aisle of one of the most famous arenas in the world, while their uncle waited at the other end for his bride. It is the kind of image that turns a massive celebrity spectacle into something that feels genuinely like a family affair. Guests who were actually there have also started sharing their own accounts, and each new one adds another layer to the story. Former NFL quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, who attended with his wife Liza, described the moment Adam Sandler walked out as the officiant as something that had everybody floored, calling the ceremony itself beautiful. He also revealed the reception featured hours upon hours of dancing, joking that he and his wife were still recovering from being out on that dance floor for 6+ hours straight.
It was unbelievable. We were very excited to get the invite and very privileged to be there. They did everything top notch, and it was beautiful to see. And when Adam Sandler walked out, that kind of had everybody floored. That was really cool. The ceremony was beautiful. Obviously very happy for them. And there was a lot of dancing, hours and hours and hours. Still kind of recovering from, being out on that dance floor for 6+ hours.
His favorite moment, he said, was simply getting to spend the night with his wife out on that floor, calling the whole thing pretty magical. It is a small human detail that cuts through all the celebrity glamour, a reminder that even at the most extravagant wedding of the year, what people actually remember afterward is just how much fun they had dancing with the person they love.
My favorite moment was I got to spend the night with my wife just on the dance floor and being around and being in it. So that was pretty magical for us.
And Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, who has known Travis for years, shared the marriage advice Adam Sandler gave the couple during the ceremony itself. Keep kissing, Sandler told them, according to Reid, who called it simple but genuinely touching wisdom. It is hard to argue with advice that's straightforward. Give your wife a kiss, let your wife kiss you, and keep doing it for the rest of your lives. Coming from a comedian known for over-the-top humor, that gentle, sincere piece of advice apparently landed as one of the most memorable parts of the entire ceremony.
Adam Sandler did the ceremony there, so he mentioned, kiss her every chance you have. So I think that's in its own simple way, that's a pretty good message. You kiss her before bed, kiss her before you go to work, all those things. It's hard to argue when you're kissing somebody. He even mentioned that if maybe you did have a small argument, to finish it with a kiss and make sure that you work it out.
Perhaps the most touching detail to emerge, though, comes from the vows themselves. Both Taylor and Travis exchanged vows that reportedly stretched close to 20 minutes each, with Travis apparently ending up more emotional than his bride by the time it was all over. One particularly moving detail from Taylor's vows has since circulated widely. She spoke about how, back in high school, Travis was the star athlete who would still go sit with the less popular kids being bullied at lunchtime, and she shared how much she wished she had known someone like that when she herself was in high school. It is a small window into exactly what drew her to him in the first place. Not the fame, not the football career, but a fundamental kindness that apparently defined him long before either of them became who they are today. So here's the bottom line. Taylor and Travis made their first public appearance as a married couple at the wedding of Travis's former teammate JuJu Smith-Schuster. Holding hands, dancing, and with Taylor playfully flashing her wedding ring to fellow guests for the very first time since the ceremony. Taylor wore a strapless pink floral gown while Travis wore a classic gray suit, and the two were seen sipping champagne and mingling warmly throughout the celebration. Before that, the newlyweds were spotted spending time in Montana with Jason and Kylie Kelce. New details about their own wedding continue to surface as well, including full confirmation that Jason's 4 daughters served as flower girls, a guest account describing hours of joyful dancing and Adam Sandler's touching officiant moment, Andy Reid's retelling of Sandler's simple keep kissing advice, and a deeply personal detail from Taylor's own vows about the kindness Travis showed as a teenager. 1 week into marriage, and already this couple has given fans a masterclass in how to be quietly, genuinely happy without needing to explain a single thing. No big statement, no dramatic reveal, just 2 people holding hands at a friend's wedding, flashing a ring, sharing a dance, and looking like they have absolutely nothing left to prove to anyone. After years of speculation, after a wedding built and guarded like a fortress, this is what the other side of all that noise actually looks like. Quiet, warm, and completely, unmistakably happy. If this is what married life looks like for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce after just 7 days, it is safe to say the rest of the world is going to be watching every single outing from here on out, hoping for just one more glimpse of that ring, that smile, and that easy, unbothered happiness that only comes from finally getting exactly what you always wanted.
We enjoyed the wedding. The wedding was spectacular. I know how weddings go. It's normally not the groom doing the planning, so I give Taylor a lot of credit for putting together just a beautiful venue and wedding and so on. So well planned out.
That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.